If you would have told me coming into this week that the community at large would generally be favoring FlyQuest, not even generally, overwhelmingly favoring FlyQuest in the matchup versus Team Liquid this upcoming weekend, as well as C9 over Lyon, I wouldn't have believed you. Genuinely, wouldn't have believed you. But that's the world we're in. Let's get into it, folks. Banger weekend of series ahead. Let's polish off real quickly some of the headlines for FlyQuest versus Team Liquid, which is going to be the first series that we will be seeing on Saturday, given that I've already spent a full video talking about this over on the Harbor, and I just wanted to follow up because now a lot more people have talked about it. The predictions are very clearly in that FlyQuest is the dominant favorite for very good reason, to be clear. FlyQuest has won the last two series over Team Liquid. Granted, it was EWC qualifiers and online. Technically, the last match that the two of them played on the LCS studio or in the side stage, Team Liquid did win. But FlyQuest also does look a lot better than they were at the time. I get it. I do. And there were a lot of people that were in the comments like, is there even like a portion of you that is cheering for FlyQuest? No. To be very clear, I'm not. I want Team Liquid to win. I don't care if, and I can admit this, it's genuinely better for the region of North America if FlyQuest wins. Like, it just unequivocally is. That said, I don't want it to happen still, okay? That's my team on the other side. Why the fuck would I want that to happen? Period. No, I don't. There are things that need to change as time goes on. I would 100% agree. Like, I'm not taking away from any of the macro points that exist here, but you are still not going to be able to get me to sway away from picking my team in this moment. Absolutely not. I've talked enough about this. Go watch Larber if you want to see the rest. C9 versus Lyon is so interesting because once again, we have hit the wall for Cloud9 that they run into every single year, which is Blaber's record, or Blaber's tragic record against Inspired. It is awful. It feels like it has been forever since Blaber last won the series or even looked good through all 5 games against Inspired. And I understand why a lot of people are going to be picking C9 because Lyon does not look to be in form in the way that they have been in the past. C9 definitely looks better, even if FlyQuest did challenge them. I agree. If you take out the context of everything that we know about Blaber versus Inspired, I think you do genuinely give the edge to C9. Because when I'm looking at topside, yes, Doak was able to neutralize Thanatos, but that is Thanatos favored. I'll come back to jungle. In the mid lane, APA is definitely playing better, but I think Saint is playing like the best mid laner in the league right now. So that one pushes it a little bit back towards Lyon. Bot side, obviously you very heavily go for Lyon in this particular matchup. But when these two squads come together as 5, the early game team fighting and prowess of C9 still feels like it should be better than Lyon. It's just a matter of whether they close out games where they're going to naturally be getting leads at some spots, or in some spots is the right word. But the jungle mismatch here, not in terms of their current form. Like, I think Blaber and Inspired are very close to each other in terms of their play on the Rift so far in spring. The matchup, Inspired just has Blaber downloaded. He finds a way to get his teams to just be able to beat him to the point where by the end of every C9 versus Lyon or C9 versus Inspired series that we have watched over the last few years, you just leave thinking, bro, Blaber's never going to be able to get this done. And this is a big step in this moment to, even though it doesn't win them everything, it does qualify you for an international event, which has been C9's hurdle, at least in terms of the official circuit, been their hurdle for the last 2 to 3 years. It's been since summer 2023 that they confidently were back in that spot. So, yeah, I'm sitting here like, I get that people want to favor C9, and they're the fan favorites for a myriad of reasons, especially given that a lot of people are hate watching Lyon at the moment. You can't get me to pick C9 in this matchup. Not until they've done it. And even then, I mean, I think them qualifying to MSI is actually going to be like a massive like burden off the shoulders that then allows them to go on and win finals if they continue this form. But I'm picking Lyon 3-1 in this series. Like, it feels like that breaking point's here. That hurdle is just not going to be able to get over for C9. And I'll eat my words. And trust me, I know there's going to be C9 fans that are going to be in my mentions like it's nothing if they go on to win this. But I can't, in good conscience, pick Blaber over Inspired in a best of 5 matchup between the two. The numbers are too extreme, and I don't bet against long-standing trends like that. I just can't. That's it for predictions. We have a few other headlines going around the league right now that I want to talk about. But yeah, wanted to see what you guys thought about the flow of like previewing the matchups early and then getting into the macro stuff later. Or do you prefer talking about the macro stuff first? Let me know down in the comments because I'm just trying to test out the format of these and see what works best. While I love this LCS official website, they really need to keep it more updated and like have the teams going through here. I get it's like TBD and they do have the scores listed out, but like you should have the teams here because we've already seen these matchups. Whatever, I'm nitpicking. Anyways, going to the Shy Knockers League over here, we have 747 members. I'm 414th. I can't imagine I'm going to be able to get anything good with my money. I think I'm just going to have to accept that I'm exactly where I'm going to end the split on. But be sure to join the league if you want your chance at a free skin, especially if you've been having a good split. In terms of coaching, I've got Team Liquid. That's great. Seos is officially out, but everybody remaining is a higher point value. Lyon is still in, which is great, but everybody else is a higher point value. Quads there, I could technically downgrade to APA, but there's no point because I'm not going to have... Oh, wait, I do have one... No, the difference there is not going to be enough. Difference between Inspired and Jose Dioto is really nothing, and then same thing here. Yeah, I'm just stuck. I have to accept it is what it is. I'll never be able to make up the gap. But the leaderboard here is close. 1 point off between both Yumi Zoomies and Take Notes V2 for the title, for the skin. Good luck to both of you. Actually, let me see who they have in the prior round. I'm curious. 147 points, Impact, Jose Dioto, Quid, Masu, Huhi, which is going to be interesting because he loses both Impact and Huhi in the next round. Everybody else is still there. And then Impact, Jose Dioto, Quad, Masu, Core, JJ, Spawn. A lot more options left here other than Impact being done. So maybe Yumi Zoomies might be able to pull away with it. Not entirely certain. But those FlyQuest players, if they beat TL, could end up haunting him as well. Unfortunately, his whole roster is just going against each other, which is the nature of these later round matchups, but it is what it is. We've got 2 other headlines, one of which being All-Pro is officially out. And for the most part, I think this is relatively fine. I don't have any particular gripes with it. I know I was a little bit harsher on Team Liquid players whenever I drafted or whenever I did my version of All-Pro. And the reason for that is I just tend to be harder on the people that are closest to you. Is that a fair thing? Probably not necessarily. I didn't even have Morgan in my top 3. I didn't have Yon in top 3 ADCs either. But I understand why they're on this list in terms of the perspective from the general public. Core, I'm sorry, Core shouldn't have been there. I agree with all the outrage that's currently happening that he should have been on this list. Absolutely, without a doubt. The fact that he wasn't is kind of crazy to me, but hey, nothing you can really do about that. Either way, it's a very respectable All-Pro vote. I think it was C9 that won coaching staff at the split. I can't say that I agree, but that's just me. And we're still waiting on MVP to be revealed. That'll come out, I'm assuming, either finals or probably next week going into finals weekend itself. And then they'll grant the trophy in Arizona, which, speaking of, if you haven't gotten your tickets already, be sure to do so. We're not going to be having a watch party here in New York City because the World Cup is currently ongoing. Everything else is ongoing in the city right now, which is honestly going to lead me to my thing that I wanted to mention at the end here, which is it's really sad to me that there's no official watch parties for the LCS that like they try and help organize. I get a lot of that is like grassroots, community driven, and like obviously there's a billion things going on in New York City right now with the Knicks, but I cannot tell you the excitement that happened for me earlier today in securing one of the tickets to be at MSG tomorrow for Game 2 for the watch party. No, I'm not paying $7,000, which is the market rate right now, to get a ticket to attend finals. But just the joy of knowing that I'm going to be in the building with a lot of other fans like that is really freaking cool. And I wish Riot did more on their watch party front to really kind of push people outside of LA to watch these games together, even when they're not there. Like, there's still a shared experience that can be had there. And maybe that's also on the teams to be able to do that, but all the teams are based in LA. So that's just like kind of sucks. What else can you say? But it relates to something that I was listening to earlier, which is Summoning Sofa, which is Miss Chim Chim's podcast that she does. She had Gen G CEO Arnold there. And they talked about the LCS and Jinxie's tournament and a lot of the things that we have kind of been talking about on this channel for a few weeks now. And it was the first time that I've seen somebody within the space, a CEO anywhere, like publicly acknowledging that massive changes have to come next year. And that online play is pretty much a guarantee at this point. Like looking at the numbers, it kind of has to happen. But then on top of that, the conversation around League Next and how that plays into it and how Riot might be holding off on big changes within the LCS, like massive sprawling changes until that happens, which that's a little bit different because it's like, okay, well, we just changed back to the LCS this year, even if it is still the same exact format, but like massive ecosystem changes you could technically do with that. There's a philosophy in business, okay, that I hope everybody understands, which is you're not really allowed to show weakness in many points. And when you have, especially when you're climbing up, when you have these pressure relief points to dump a bunch of bad stuff all at once and course correct, you try and get it all out there at one time so then you maintain stability afterwards. Now, we're on decline, and obviously that's a completely different predicament to be in than a business that's climbing and like dealing with one bad point. But hearing Arnold talk about it just makes it feel like, to me, we are hitting one of those marks that we will see this offseason where they are just going to dump the mother load. Like, you're just going to make that call now. He said in a few years, maybe you wait, but it just feels like with League Next coming up, any massive changes that you want to be or you want to push through should happen right now. And then you have to stabilize afterwards. So whatever you're going to do, whatever you're going to set in motion has to be done with the intent that nothing gets touched or changed for at least like 3 years at a minimum. Maybe I'm reading too much into Arnold's words, but I just wanted to also use that as a segue to talk about this podcast, which is incredible from a production value point of view. I love Miss Chim Chim as a creator as well. The guests that she's having on have been really good, and it's been sparking a lot of good conversation. So I just wanted to recommend it for you all. Go check it out if you need something to listen to during the week. But for this weekend, we've got some banger series ahead. And really quickly, I addressed it in a short and talked about it on Twitter a little bit. Monday's video that you can expect from me on this channel, I will still have the headlines out. I'm going to put that out on Sunday night. I'm in conversations with Team Liquid right now as well to possibly have Morgan on the co-stream after the Team Liquid versus FlyQuest series. So like just have him on, come shoot the shit, talk for a little bit. I think you all might enjoy that. But Monday is going to be a very special video for me that I'm excited to share with you all that is not necessarily League of Legends related, but I will bring it around to that point because I have some really good news to share with you all on the co-streaming front as well. At least my side. It's not anything big. I don't want to build this up to be something more than it is, but just like it's been something I've been working towards and mentioned about at the beginning of the year that I'm finally going to be able to make happen. So I'll see you all on the co-stream and see you all on Monday for that video. It should be a really fun one.